Welcome back to Developing You. It is all about real questions, real answers, and hopefully real solutions. Developing You is all about you. It's about the opportunity that you have to give me a question so that I can support you. I've created a framework for you to expand and grow within. But it's important that you ask questions, that you develop your knowledge further, and this is an opportunity to do that. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and also notice below that there will be other information to support you and the questions that you have. Okay, so let's get started and see what we've got today. The question: when I start to plan and create my future, I get overwhelmed as the to-do list is so long. How do I get into the flow yet move just one step at a time? Okay. So let me just, before we start, talk a little bit about what this flow is, because, a lot of people talk about the flow, being in the flow. I wrote within the Gifted State all about what the flow was. So for anybody who hasn't read that yet, then let me just give you a little bit of an overview. If you think of your life like a river, and if you get into that river and you allow it, it's just going to flow downstream, down to wherever it is you want to go. Now, there is this concept also in life sometimes that life's supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be hard. No pain without gain. No gain without pain. This concept that we're supposed to try and it be difficult. And of course, we could go into that area in more detail. But what I want you to think about flow is when you are moving in the direction for you, it has an ease to it. You're going in the right direction. You're in your life, you're flowing to what it is you actually want. And you know when you are because it feels easy. When it feels difficult, that's because you're going in a direction, something you want to happen, and you are pulling yourself in the opposite direction. Maybe you're doing that because you're telling yourself stories, I can't do that. You have beliefs about yourself, I'm a failure, and whatever it is, you, instead of going with the flow towards what you want and letting go of those things that are stopping you in your mind, you tend to make up some excuses, go in another direction and feel out of your flow, get caught up by the side of your river in an eddy, a whirlpool that goes round and round. If you stay in that whirlpool for too long, you can sometimes take yourself out and sit on the side just watching the flow of the river, not actually being in it. So the flow is when you are on your course and you can feel it really strongly. You're not resisting anything, you're just going with it. It's important to say sometimes you do resist, we all do, but it's also important to understand that that flow is always constantly there. Okay? Now, so in this question, it talks a little bit about planning. And I am not saying don't plan. I'm not saying that at all. They say, fail to plan, plan to fail. There is a requirement to have some sort of framework, okay, so that you've got some idea of where you're going. But also, sometimes we over-plan. We can actually then create analysis paralysis, where we get nothing done, we've over-planned, we've created a huge to-do list, and then we're sort of working through it, and it no longer feels like we're in the flow. We're not enjoying each task. We're not then ticking them off and celebrating them. We feel like it's a drudge. So sometimes we create too big a list. We're trying to work out all the variables. So let's imagine we come back to who we are, sitting in today. We know what we want, and we've got an idea of the direction we're going in. What we want to do is we can create an overview, a plan, a broad picture, okay, with all of the details. Sometimes for me, when I'm doing that, I sort of brainstorm on a piece of paper. I don't list it, I brainstorm, I see myself in the centre, and then I see these things around me. But then what I do is, remember, you may have to go to a certain point, take some actions, get to a certain point before you then see around the corner and you see the next vantage point, the next thing you're aiming for. So you may only get so far on your plan and realise you need to alter it. So what's important is, consider this. How many steps on my list and my plan can I write down until I feel uncomfortable? Once you start feeling uncomfortable, you put too many things on your list, then you know you've gone too far. Pause. Come back. Come back to the point where there are enough things on your to-do list, on your plan, and then you could action them. Because action is what's important. So if you had a day and you said, I wanted to do, like, for myself, 5 videos today, that would be my plan. I may have a bigger plan, but actually when I realised that, I can't do 10 videos and pick up my daughter from work and clean the kitchen floor or whatever other things I'm doing, it has to be within my current life and my current experience. Yes, I'm moving towards supporting as many people as I can with developing you and the work that I'm doing. But today, in my plan, I can only go as far as the 5 videos that I'm going to create for you. I hope that's helpful for you. It really is about not overwhelming yourself. She says, I get overwhelmed as the to-do list is so long. The obvious thing is to shorten the to-do list. And then when you've completed a number of tasks on your to-do list, look at it again, because you'll be in a different vantage point than you were before. You may see around a corner because you've actually moved a few steps further forward, and then you can see what's next and replan. So don't be too hard on yourself. Remember, life evolves. You may have a strong pull and desire within you, but also remember that you can alter your course or just check in with yourself. Am I in the right place now? And is this my next step? So that's that question for today. If you have any more questions relating to it, please write in the comment below. And remember, this is all about your questions, bringing your questions to me so that I can answer them and we can share them with everybody. And then you can start to implement some of this into your life. So thank you for now, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye-bye.